that.
You might be right, because it is cathartic.
Right.
Like, if a dude just wants to cry in his car, he probably listens to Drake, right? Like, is that,
Does he? I
would
don't
that
know.
be the go-to? It's not Boys to Men anymore. Welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Devin.
And like you, I love rewatching movies over and over again.
You made it here. You found us. You love romantic comedies. We do as well.
So this is a show where we rewatch rom-coms, break them down a bit for you, maybe take a peek behind the curtain, dig beneath the surface, and decide, does it still hold up?
Today we have...
You People.
And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever, please throw us a follow. As well, reviews help more people find us. So if you want to share your love for, the RCR fam, leave a review. It's so helpful. And if you hear anything on the podcast that you want to reach out about, you want to talk more about, you want to just continue a conversation about, on Instagram, at Romcom Rewind, Susan messaged us a little while ago saying, hey there, so I listened to this week's podcast about Chalet Girl. I'd seen it before and thought it was okay, ... Definitely Team Devin. Yeah, Joan. But Joan says, Sarah's enthusiasm for the movie made me want to rewatch it. I just finished it and ... It's a good one.
Yes.
I'm now Team Sarah for this one.
Woohoo.
I love the podcast. I look forward to hearing the new episode each Wednesday. Thank you so much, Joan,
Thanks, Joan.
for joining the RCR fam. This movie of You People is a brand new Netflix romantic comedy directed by Kenya Barris. Before I get into the synopsis, this film is special because it is our first review of a film that was part of the Rom-Com Rewind Fantasy Draft. Much
Sure
like
was.
people who are into the NFL have fantasy football teams, we have fantasy romantic comedy teams.
Yep.
And You People is on my team. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, Sarah is actually leading already because 3 of our movies collectively
I know.
all came out all at once.
It's crazy. I actually didn't know that one of them was coming out this soon. Hot and heavy.
Hot and heavy. We had Shotgun Wedding. We had You People. We had one more.
Maybe I do.
Maybe I do. That's right. Shotgun Wedding scored the best out of the 3 of them. They all dropped on Friday.
Right. So, Shotgun Wedding will be coming soon.
Yes, we will be doing that one.
And then, maybe I do. We'll have to do that shortly thereafter. So, yeah.
Lots of new romantic comedies. It's
exciting.
exciting. You People is the story of Ezra Cohen, played by Jonah Hill. Ezra comes from a Jewish family. His mom is Shelley, played by Julia Louise Dreyfus. And dad, Arnold, played by David Duchovny. It's been so long since I've seen him. And they're very much kind of one of those we're just trying to set Ezra up with a nice, smart Jewish girl who's studying to become a doctor. That's kind of the vibe there. Ezra eventually meets Amira, played by Lauren London, and they hit it off right away. The only problem, Amira comes from a very strong and proud black family. Her dad, Woody, changed his name to Akbar. He is played by Eddie Murphy. He's very strong in his values. Her mom is Fatima, played by Nia Long. And You People is really just a story of love in the middle of just a culture clash, kind of, between these two families. What are your thoughts?
What the fuck? What are you doing? Stop!
Help me to
Okay, but you're not getting 5 stars. This is...
Uber driver.
I mean, honestly, you guys are twins.
Oh my God, wait, she really does look like me.
I'm sorry, this was insane. Let me make it up to you.
You're dating a black girl?
I've never felt so understood by somebody in my entire life.
Whether you like it or not, we kind of go together now.
I loved the cast for this. I think they did such a kick-ass job on the cast. I think it was huge. It was awesome. And this movie wants you to feel the awkwardness between everything, both families, the ways of life, everything. It's one of the main characters of this movie. This movie was funny, it was shocking, it was awkward, all at the same time. And then there was a little bit of a rom piece in it, and I wanted more of it. I wanted more of that romantic piece to it. This movie pushes the boundaries when it comes to making people feel awkward and puts it at the forefront. I loved Eddie Murphy and Jonah Hill as the duo in this movie.
Impeccable.
I wanted more of them as well. I think everybody in this movie did a phenomenal job. I loved Lauren London in this. I want her in more stuff. Everyone did a very fantastic job at delivering their character the way that they were supposed to, making making each other feel awkward, the conversation that was happening. Kenya Barris does such a great job. I loved the TV show Blackish because it brings things to the forefront that, you know, maybe you don't think about or think about in a specific way. And I love how he pushes boundaries and makes a movie about it, like, so everyone can see it. I enjoyed this movie. It was very awkward at times, and that was the point.
This film is the definition of like cringe comedy. If you like the episode, I think it's in season 1 of The Office, it's called Diversity Day. It's so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
If that's your bag, you like that kind of comedy, this is absolutely for you. But I would say this film is certainly not for everyone. I think the writing is really funny. Kenya Barris wrote this alongside Jonah Hill.
Yeah, the writing was really funny.
Oh, man. And I think you're right, Sarah. Like, you really see that come through in the film. Like, oh, okay, some of these jokes really feel like Blackish. And then some of these jokes really feel like Jonah Hill. It's a very in-your-face film. It's very unapologetic.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think a lot of the jokes... there's a lot of stuff that people might find tough to talk about or address, and this film is just like, it's all on the table. We're going for it. We're talking about all of it. We're making jokes about all of it.
And I like that Kenya Barris does that. Like, you know what? Oh, you don't want to talk about these things? I'm going to make a movie about it. I'm going to make a movie about it, and you're going to sit there and you're going to watch it, and you might feel awkward about it, but that's the point. Like, I wish the movie had a little bit more to it, plot line wise. It was a long run time.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think the first half really brought me in. Like, it's impeccable, and then just kind of, lost some steam trying to find like a solid footing at the end, I guess, is what I would say. But let's dive in.
So the movie starts off with Ezra and his friend Mo. They do a podcast together, and it's about culture. Or Black culture. Ezra likes to say just culture, especially when he's talking to Eddie Murphy's character Akbar in this movie.
Oh, he says the culture a lot.
The culture, yeah, he does, yeah. And then we have Ezra at his synagogue with his family. We see a lot, and this is another piece to this movie that I think you don't realize, but Kenya Barris and Jonah Hill brought in so many side characters from so many big things, and I'll talk about it later on in the pod. But
I will as well.
But you have to watch, and you're like, oh my God, he's from that. Oh my God, I remember her from this.
Yeah, I know that guy from somewhere, and then you look it up, you're like, oh right, it's that guy from that thing.
It was fun to see like characters from different shows that you haven't seen in a really long time, and they brought them back. I liked it. Like, I say cameos, they're not cameos because they don't play themselves, but they play different side characters, and it was fun. And we see that Ezra is single, and he's 35, and his family...
I didn't notice.
Yes.
They didn't bring it up at all.
Likes to push that point and bring that up quite a bit. All of his relatives as well do the same. And there's some awkward conversations in the first, like...
Well, can we dive into them? Because I think this really sets the tone for the movie.
I
Ezra,
love it. It's so funny.
Like, he forgets his yarmulke, and everybody starts giving him crap for it. But then his mom, Shelley, played by Julia Louise Dreyfus, is like bringing up his tattoos, and she's like, oh, I get it, you're expressing yourself with these illustrations, this graffiti on your arms, just like subtle like pokes at him.
Yeah.
And then after everything, they're kind of hanging out at a reception area, and everybody's like, oh, Ezra's he's in his 30s and he's still single. They make assumptions that he might be gay.
Yep.
One guy's like,
Got a girlfriend?
No.
But you don't like getting pushy?
Okay. Hearing the word pussy come out of your mouth does make me question whether or not I like it.
Back again up in this
I don't know if I like it when you say it like that. It's just, but it's very like, this movie just gets off to a screaming start with that kind of comedy.
Yeah, it does. And then it goes back to the podcast with Mo. Mo and Ezra are talking about just his love life in general in the studio. And they start talking about all the different types of Drakes.
I'm never going to meet a woman who understands me.
I don't think I've heard of a man ever who wanted to be in a relationship so badly besides Drake. I'm talking Views Drake.
They hear that loud.
I feel like Beavis Drake, alone on a building, dangling my legs off, wondering what it's like to feel companionship.
I thought
that was
this
funny.
was so funny. I mean, they should have gone back to all the way to Degrassi, when he used to...
Oh, Degrassi days? Yeah.
Like
Jimmy?
I just thought that was so funny about comparing Ezra's love life to different points in Drake's career. And I thought that was I thought that was such a niche thing to do for the writing. It was so funny.
Is Drake, okay, this is a weird comparison because he is like the hopeless romantic of the rap game.
I know exactly, I think, where you're going.
Is Drake like 2010, 2020s Boys to Men? I think about like how like emotional men would get listening to Boys to Men after a breakup. Is it the same thing now with Drake?
I think you're on the right track. Do you want to know where I thought you were going?
Where?
I thought you were going to compare Drake's love to Taylor Swift.
Oh,
her songs of love and breakups and like muses and all of that.
You might be right because it is cathartic.
Right.
Like if a dude just wants to cry in his car, he probably listens to Drake, right? Like is that
Does he? I
would
don't
that
know.
be the go-to? It's not Boys to Men anymore.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Like,
oh no, we're doing,
I know.
like Hotline Bling. And,
yeah. So yeah, they describe his love life and levels of desperation for him, and he's really trying to find somebody, his soulmate, right? He wants to find somebody to spend the rest of his life with, and his parents keep setting him up with women who are successful. They're Jewish, but just aren't on the level of his vibe, I guess, right? Like they're not the same vibe as him.
Well, he has a date with, I'm pretty sure she's in school to be a doctor or something.
Right.
And she's like, so you work in finance? And he's like, yeah, but I really prefer podcasting. And she's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, this is not going to work out with her.
Yeah, no, right off the bat. So Amira pulls up to, so we first meet Amira while she's driving and she's lost. She's on her way to work, we find out, and she pulls up to Ezra's work building, and because she's lost, she's trying to figure out her directions. She's sitting at the very front entrance, and Ezra gets in the car thinking that it's his Uber. And she starts freaking out. This is their meet cute. And I actually think this was a creative way to do a meet cute.
So creative.
Because it's very now.
And we immediately get into the culture clash because Amira's like, oh, you just think like I must be your Uber? Like how ignorant are you?
Yeah.
And Ezra's like, no, like first of all, Mini Cooper.
Honestly, you guys are twins.
Oh my God, wait, she really does look like me.
And Amira's like, oh, we actually do look the same. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he agrees to kind of like, he's like, I know the area a little bit better. Clearly you're lost because I can hear Siri trying to tell you where to go. So why don't I just take you to where you need to go?
Yeah.
And that's how they meet. And we kind of get a quick little montage of them going on a few dates. Things seem to be going well.
Yes. And back to the whole lost thing. Sometimes I would just appreciate Siri or Google Maps just to tell me I'm lost. Let me know that.
You want it to be straight up.
I want them to, whichever voice I pick, Australian or whatever, like just tell me I'm lost.
You want Siri to admit defeat.
Then provide me an option to get out of being lost.
So what do you think they're going to say, Sarah? Like, okay.
You are
just
lost.
Pull over.
None of this recalculating. I'm driving. I don't need to be recalculated. Just tell me you are lost, pull over. Let me get my bearings. Let Google get her bearings and then figure shit out.
You do bring up a good point. The recalculating is so annoying, especially when you're like, okay, my turnoff was either this one or this one.
Yes.
It's like recalculating, and you're like, no, I need to know right now.
Not right now. Don't do this to me.
Just make a decision.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's wrong. You just need to tell me.
And in bigger cities, when you get the recalculating thing and you're veering off and you don't know if it's this one or the next one, and you take this one and it's actually the next one, it's going to take you 25 minutes to get back onto the highway to get to the next one. The whole just tell me I'm lost. I would appreciate that, Siri and Google.
It'd be a fun little beta to test out with Sarah specifically. I want to see how you react to the we're lost.
You are lost. Pull over. So, yes, like you mentioned, they hit it off. They end up going for lunch. And I love how Mo makes a comment like, please don't tell me you bought a tie-dye outfit for this.
Yeah, jumpsuit.
And he 100% did.
He did, yeah.
And they end up hitting it off at the lunch, and they go on a series of other dates. But before they meet for lunch, Amira meets with her dad and her brother Omar.
We meet Eddie Murphy.
Yes, we do. This is the first time we've met Eddie Murphy in this movie. Yeah.
He sets the theme really quickly
Big
because
time.
he walks into this restaurant and he's looking around at everybody. You're like, wow, like Eddie Murphy's kind of a badass. He sits down and immediately comments on the blackness of everybody's hair in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, so this is the kind of vibe that Akbar is in this movie. He's pretty intense.
Yeah, and we kind of find out, I mean, Omar, Amira's brother, kind of rats her out saying like, oh yeah, Amira's dating somebody, and she kind of plays it off as like no big deal. Oh yeah, he's Muslim. Oh yeah, he's black. Like, yeah. Totally, Dad. And little do they know, he's white. He's a white boy.
He's Jewish.
And he's Jewish, and he's gonna wear a tie-dye tracksuit to lunch.
Yeah.
Some of the fashion in this, I do really like the styles and everything like this. I do really like it, but the tie-dye jumpsuit, I don't know.
Well, I think Mo was making the comment because she's like, because Ezra does have his own style in this film.
Yeah.
And I think the tie-dye tracksuit was probably him trying to be somebody he's not.
Okay.
And then throughout the rest of the film, you're like, okay, so this is actually who you are. You're just playing a part.
Yeah. They end up together. And then we fast forward 6 months later.
We got to meet the parents.
And we meet the parents. So Amira meets Ezra's parents, and they get to their house, and it is beyond awkward from like literally the moment Shelley opens that door.
This is impeccable comedy from Julia Louise Dreyfus.
Yeah.
David Duchovny's in here delivering a few funny lines. It's just very...
Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's hard to describe, but it is...
It's awkward. And I think like they're trying to be hip, they're trying to be welcoming, but at the same time they're ignorant. And it's just... It comes off as pure awkwardness to the viewer, right? Like you're so there's parts of it that you're very uncomfortable sitting there, and you're like, oh my God, like I have secondhand embarrassment for all of them.
I like your braids.
Thank you.
Exhibit had braids.
Yeah,
like everyone.
And they do a thing where like Shelley's like, I just want to throw this out to the group. I want to talk about police brutality a little bit.
My God.
And
Yeah,
Ezra does bring up like, Shelley is like, why is that a weird conversation? And he's like, because you would never talk about that,
right?
If there wasn't Amira here, you know, like that's just not something that we talk about. There was, and I don't know if this is on the same vein or not, but David Duchovny's character Arnold, the dad, he brings up Exhibit all the time. Yeah. And at first I'm like, oh, it's because Amira's here that he just wants to talk about Exhibit. But he brings him up all the time that I think he's actually like weirdly a fan of Exhibit. It's a weird gray area.
Like it was kind of like subtly placed in the movie. I thought you were going to talk about how he plays John Legend for her. And like sets up a chair for her. Sets up a chair for her to watch him play the piano and play John Legend on the piano for her. I don't know. I have so many questions. Did he learn that? Does he already know it? Did he have obviously he's playing it specifically for her?
Well, I was about to say, I think he clearly already knows it, but clearly he's like, oh, I'm going to play a black artist for you.
I was just going to say, let's say the one black artist that I know, I'm going to play on piano for you. Yeah, awkward.
I think that's what it is. But I want to talk a little. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Exhibit, because then my mind started racing like, oh my God, Pimp My Ride. That was like a really cool era for MTV. Can we rank just the best MTV shows?
Okay.
I've got on my list, I think it's like a tie for number one. It's like a 1A, 1B.
Okay.
MTV Cribs and Punk'd were fantastic.
I liked Cribs better. Punk'd was fine at first, but then it kind of just got really awkward. And I don't know why. Here's
my thing with Punk'd. I think MTV Cribs was overall the better show, but I remember more Punk'd moments. Like, I remember Justin Timberlake crying on the curb while they're breaking his guitar. You know, like, there are moments from Punk'd that I can remember.
Yeah, I think, you know what, though? I didn't really watch Punk'd. I watched MTV Cribs a lot more. So for me, that MTV, that's definitely what comes to my mind. I mean, you can't forget TV shows like Date My Mom, Room Raiders.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you know, The Hills were massive on MTV.
Yeah, The Hills in Laguna Beach was where it started to lose me a little bit.
That was more reality, like a different reality TV, right? Like MTV Cribs was like about celebrities, that kind of genre, and then like The Hills and Laguna Beach were like a group of like rich kids.
See, I was more on the reality side. I was like The Real World instead.
I was just about to say
The Real World was fantastic.
I freaking loved The Real World. I loved watching that. I was gonna say I love watching that garbage.
That garbage, yeah. MTV Unplugged was great for quite a while. I'm going to say, like, I also had Daria. Remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
The animated one?
Yes.
Beavis and Butthead. But I would say...
I forgot that was on MTV.
Jackass. Remember when it was just a show on MTV?
Oh, yeah.
That's probably my number 3.
You know what? I watched Jackass, but I more watched the movies because I think I was like late to the game being like... I don't know. I just don't think
you're just hopping on the bandwagon?
Watch that. Yeah, I think so. Like Johnny Knoxville. Oh my God, Jackass the movie. Like I thought that was funny. It's not funny anymore. Those stunts are not funny.
They've
outgrown. You've outgrown them.
Well, it's weird that they just did a new Jackass movie and you're like, yo, Johnny Knoxville's like in his 50s. He looks like he's in his 80s. Like he has not aged nicely.
It's not funny anymore. And I mean, it was funny back then because it was stupid shit that they did. But now, like looking back, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I laughed at that stuff.
But fun fact about Pimp My Ride, there are these new allegations coming out that they just totally trashed people's vehicles when they were...
Oh my God.
Yeah, a few years ago, there was like, you know how you can do Ask Me Anythings on Reddit?
Right.
A bunch of people who submitted for the show and were part of the show, just like random guys who were like, yeah, like exhibit, please pimp my ride. Those people are coming out being like, honestly, they destroyed parts of my car, parts of it like we're not roadworthy anymore.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the producers of the show have come out and kind of been like, well, that's not totally true.
Wow.
But it sounds like there might be a middle area where some of it is a little bit true.
It's a little gray.
Yeah. So back to the dinner with Ezra. And so he takes his mom, Shelley, off to the side at one point. One, to like tell her to stop being weird and ignorant. But he also reveals to her, hey, like, I'm going to ask Amira to marry me.
And she's excited about it. Like she's excited for him. And
she's excited. We still get the weird comments from Shelley where she's like, oh my God, we're going to have mixed race babies.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, that's not the point. That's not like the third thing you should think after this. You should just be excited for a little while.
Ezra needs to ask Amira's father and mother for her hand in marriage. And so they meet at Roscoe's for lunch. This is the first time that Ezra has met her parents.
Akbar.
It is hilariously awkward.
So awkward.
The word of this podcast is awkward.
Eddie Murphy is like the deadpan, scathing, just like so unimpressed vibes.
Yeah.
Are like, I'm uncomfortable for Ezra in these scenes.
Oh yeah, me too. And you know what? Like he tries his best through them. Like I think he does a good job. He blabbers though. Like he just like blubbers and like just
So, okay, I actually kept track and I'm wondering if you can guess the number.
Okay.
The amount of times that Devin had to genuinely pause this film and just stop and just give me a sec.
Okay.
Because it was more than once during these scenes.
Oh, okay.
During this scene specifically, it must have been twice at least. But for the whole film, how many times do you think I paused it?
I'm going to say 14.
Oh, very close, Sarah.
Okay.
11.
Oh, 11. Okay.
11 total pauses, but this one scene alone is at least 2, maybe 3 of them. Like, I had to walk out of the room when he started being like, Jesus might have been mixed race. We don't. I'm like, holy shit, Ezra. Pause, walk out the room. Just give me a minute. Because I did not think he was going down that path. Like, this dinner meeting, it did not go well for Ezra.
No. There's a lot of paths that this movie takes that are just like, you got to pause it. Well, you paused it.
Yeah,
anyway.
I paused it a lot.
Yeah. And so Ezra tells her parents that he wants to propose to Amira. And all Akbar says is,
So you want to marry my daughter?
Yes, I do.
Well, Ezra, you could try.
Badass line from Eddie Murphy.
yeah, like you can try. And I think that right there sets the tone for the rest of their relationship throughout the movie. Now we need a meeting of the family.
And this is, I thought this would be peak uncomfortable when it happened. We do get even more so, but this dinner, can we just talk about the greatest, like most iconic roles from each of these actors and actresses? Because I think pretty much all of them have had iconic moments in their careers. So I'm going to give you the nominees for each person, and you just tell me what you think is their biggest role.
All right.
Starting with Jonah Hill.
Okay.
Because we got Superbad.
Oh, yeah.
We got 21 Jump Street.
Right.
Wolf of Wall Street, I think, belongs in there.
Yes.
Get him to the Greek.
Oh my God.
This Is the End, maybe-ish, and War Dogs, maybe-ish.
Oh, I was going to say, where's Moneyball?
Oh, see, Moneyball, would that be one of Brad Pitt's most iconic ones? But I think Jonah Hill was amazing in that.
Yeah, see, for me, I think Jonah Hill was so good in Moneyball. That was top 3 for me.
Really?
So, like, my top 3 for Jonah Hill are Moneyball, Superbad, and The Wolf on Wall Street.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street is just unreal.
The Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know why I said on. I have no idea. But yes. I have seen the movie.
Jesus. A little skeptical. Eddie Murphy has such a long list. I'm probably not even going to do it justice because like Beverly Hills Cop, I think is one of the nominees. Coming to America.
Yes.
What a film. The Nutty Professor, Dr. Dolittle. Shout out to Shrek. He was Donkey in Shrek.
Right.
He was Mushu in Mulan.
Yeah.
And
in the
he was
90s.
also on Saturday Night Live, which was a big deal while he was there.
Yes, he was. So much so that they wanted him to come back again, like last few years.
And Eddie Murphy has such a long career. Like, I admit, I'm glossing over a few big ones, but as I see it, like, for me, it's probably Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America, and maybe Shrek as Donkey, because I think he made that film fantastic.
Yes, the comedic relief was delivered by Eddie Murphy in Shrek as Donkey. Like, that's definitely top 3 for me. Yep. I really liked Dr. Dolittle growing up.
Oh my God.
I
See,
loved
that's
those
our
movies.
era.
Yes. And that's like the comedic again. This is why, when I talk about this role for Eddie Murphy in this movie is so different from the roles that I grew up with him in, right? Like he was
had
very
a zany
comedic.
era.
Yeah. So for me, like, I really liked the difference in this role, but he has had different roles like Beverly Hills Cop, right? Like those different ones. So I would say that that's top 3 for me as well.
Julia Louis Dreyfus might be easy because there's Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And then there's Veep.
Yeah.
And she was on SNL. Those are kind of the 3 big moments in her career, I think.
Yeah, and like, she dipped into like a few episodes of TV shows here and there, which I think she made a good big impact on those. But yeah, I mean, Seinfeld and Veep, 2 very different characters, but 2 phenomenal characters all on their own. And God, I loved her in Veep.
And she had a spinoff of Seinfeld afterward that was just her.
Right. Yes, she did. Yeah.
David Duchovny is also probably an easy one.
Yeah.
The X-Files.
Definitely.
And Californication is like a little step off from the X-Files, but it was still a great show.
Yeah, it's weirdly enough, I mean, I don't like scary movies, so I never watched the X-Files. So I actually watched Californication. So that's where I knew him from before.
Really?
Like I knew him from the X-Files, but I just had never seen him in the X-Files.
He's like an aquatic creature, isn't he? Like he resurfaces once every 7 years, here's this massive role in the X-Files and then nothing for like 8 years and then Californication and then nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. It's like LL Cool J if he like stopped NCIS and then like came back and did another spinoff of NCIS and then stopped and did another spinoff of NCIS because like in LL Cool J world right now, I think of him as NCIS.
Yeah. And then Nia Long.
Yep.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, she was Lisa, which I'm always going to remember her as she's Lisa from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She was also in Empire.
Right. Yes, she was in Empire. And she was also most recently in Look Both Ways, the movie with Lily Reinhart.
That's right.
It's on Netflix. She was her boss. And I thought she was so great as her boss. I really liked her in that movie.
She was like the creative director, animation head of a company, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like a massive part, but I did really like her.
It felt very like Pixar. She was great. And Lauren London, I think her career trajectory is, I don't want to say like what's been most iconic because I think for her, like the best is probably yet to come.
Yeah, I think she's been in a few things here and there, but nothing massive. Like I think this is definitely her, I'm going to say breakout role.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
for like a bigger movie as like a lead.
So we have this star-studded dinner party and it goes off the rails so quickly.
Okay, we talked about the movie The Family Stone and that family dinner. This family dinner puts that family dinner to awkward shame.
Yes, and it's mostly Eddie Murphy and Julia Louis Dreyfus going back and forth.
Oh, so you're all Muslim.
Very much so.
I love it.
This kufi that I'm wearing was actually a gift from the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Are you familiar with the minister's work?
Well, I'm familiar with what he said about the Jews.
You know what? Let's have dinner.
Which is such fantastic, like conversation banter between these two actors, as well as like playing their roles.
With Jonah Hill like trying to hang on to the reins, like, oh my God, this is going off the rails.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting dinner conversation, to say the least. But again, I think it's supposed to make you feel awkward and or make you really pay attention to the conversation. And
then we have each person individually trying to, get a little bit more comfortable with the parents. So Ezra goes off with Akbar to go to a barber shop, which right away it's like a Crips versus Bloods thing. Like Ezra shows up in a red sweater. Everybody's wearing blue. He's like, oh my God, I'm going to get shot here. Like, this is not a good look. And people make comments like, yeah, you should probably take the sweater off, and clearly Akbar did that on purpose. And Shelley brings Amira to like a spa. She wants to have a spa day, a little girl bonding thing. That gets awkward because she like feigns like, oh, these people are being ignorant to you because you're black or whatever. It's very confused.
I'm so sorry for you because you have to go through this. And she's like, go through what? Like, what are you talking about? There's nothing happening right now that is awkward. You're making this awkward. You're the individual in this conversation that's making this situation awkward.
Yeah. Yeah. Both situations are very uncomfortable, as is the theme with the movie.
Yes. And so then the boys go to an outdoor basketball court. And because I think the way Akbar sees it is that Ezra's talked a big game about all these things in the culture that he does and that he's a part of and, that he thrives in. And so he wants to see where those holes are. He wants to poke those holes.
He thinks he's a fraud. So he's like, he just brings him to a random basketball court. He's like, hey, you talk a big game about playing basketball all the time.
Let's see
it.
Yeah.
And Ezra actually can play ball.
Okay, so this is my best scene.
Okay, this was great, actually.
Because this, I loved it. Like, I kind of got like, I was like, oh, yay. Like, this is so good. Yeah. Akbar, like, yeah, in your face. Because he starts live streaming it to all of his friends to show like, oh my God, look at this kid who's going to be my son-in-law. Like, look at this dud.
Look at this white boy about to get annihilated on the court.
And then he like makes the shot and just the music with it, the vibe, like it was just so well done.
By the end of it, he won like a pair of sneakers off some guy. Ezra's like, hey, like if these guys are in a group chat, like get me in on this. These guys are great.
Yeah, he like totally proved him wrong, which I think he needed some humbling. I think Akbar, like with the whole situation of like, I'm gonna basically get this guy to hit the road.
Well, and it was well placed because as the audience, you're rooting for Ezra and Amira here, and you're just like, oh no, like they need a win here. Like somebody's got to get them a W. And this was like, okay, Ezra he's not a fraud. He is who he is.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so they have wedding planners come to their house and to meet with the families, and they have very different views of how the weddings are going to go. And I mean, again, it's about Amira and Ezra, and I think
but it's not, Sarah.
But it's not.
Kidding?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, but again, it doesn't dive deep into this, like just to show the division of like what Amira and Ezra want and what the families want. Like I wanted more of it, more conversation and deep dive there. But we do briefly see that there is definitely the families versus Ezra and Amira and what they want.
Shout out to Demetrius, played by Dion Cole, who is Akbar's choice for wedding planner, who's like, you know what we should do, guys? We should do a Tron themed wedding. Wasn't it ridiculous?
That was absurd. And when he came out with I have 40 Tron suits, I was like, where and why do you have those Tron suits?
Well, I think the implication there was that he has all these Tron suits with nothing to do with them. So he's like, what about a Tron themed wedding, guys? Like he's just throwing that out there. We recently talked about weirdest wedding venues, but we have never talked weirdest wedding themes that have actually existed in real life.
Ooh.
In 2015, Sam Finnan and Bob Thomas had a Minion-themed wedding.
Oh, no. That's like an Oompa Loompa. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. The Minions from the, what is that, Despicable Me?
Yes.
Yeah, Minion-themed wedding.
Gru.
In 2013, Adrian Dunvan and Eddie Quinones had a bacon-themed wedding.
A bacon-themed wedding. Did they have some Joe Jonas playing in the background?
Bacon, yeah. Great song. There were bouquets made of bacon. There was a cake sprinkled with bacon. There was a wedding aisle carpet featuring slabs of bacon.
P-meal or like, just kidding.
Guests were wearing bacon vests.
Oh my God.
It's a lot.
That is a lot.
It is a lot.
That is weird.
There was a Twilight wedding.
Oh, I believe that. I have seen Harry Potter ones. I have seen Halloween weddings. Oh yeah, I believe that.
But is Twilight a little bit weirder? Because in that one, it's genuinely like Bella loves Edward.
Yeah.
So if you're the groom, you're like, my wife loves Edward Cullen so much. When we get married, she would prefer to be like, can we make it like Edward Cullen vibes? Like, well, is that not weird?
In my mind,
am I overthinking this?
No, it is weird. I think in my mind, like, I think he would have to like stay out of the sun and like almost make, because Edward's skin is like almost iridescent. Like it's almost like it shines like a diamond.
Okay, Sarah.
So I feel like he'd have to put glitter on him.
Why are
to
you
shine? What?
I love how I brought up a concern about their romance, and you're like, well, like the science behind Twilight is actually
aesthetically. If you wanted the wedding to be legitly aesthetically pleasing,
if it's proper lore, it should be in the Washington State countryside. Is where they should have set this.
Like, well, maybe if that's where it's set, I honestly can't remember. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is. So then we jump to the bachelor and bachelorette parties.
Right.
I think this might be peak awkward.
You think? I thought the family dinner was peak awkward for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Ezra is going on his bachelor party to Vegas, naturally. It's funny.
With
his
friends.
We didn't see any of his friends except for Mo until this moment. Mm-hmm. Friggin' Andrew Schultz is in this.
Yeah.
I get served TikToks of him all the time. He's a comedian. And they all go to Vegas, but who shows up on the plane right before they leave? Akbar and Amira's brother.
Yeah.
So they're coming to crash the party. And Akbar even says, like, to his son, I'm just here to ruin their party. I'm just here to make them feel like they're having a bad time.
Well, and also make sure that Ezra has the worst time.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And, naturally, they're at a strip club, and Ezra's trying to have a good time, and he sees, like... 2 rooms away through like a pane of glass, Akbar, like Eddie Murphy's just staring at him, skeptically, not loving whatever he's seeing. Like, he's just having the worst time. And also this story comes out about Ezra doing cocaine.
And then shitting his pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
was a little bit ridiculous for me.
Yeah.
I thought we could have left that one out.
I was going to say, they dragged on with the whole drugs and the, that whole scene was dragged on, I think, too long.
Tiny bit.
Because I didn't think it was that funny.
On the other side, we have Amira, who's going on her bachelorette party.
Yes.
To Palm Springs. Ezra's sister is there. Same with Shelley. Julia Louise Dreyfus shows up. And she's just like... It's hard to place her, but it's just like mild... ignorance at times. Like, she doesn't mean poorly, but she doesn't mean well, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Like, she almost tries too hard, but not hard enough. I don't know how to explain that. Like, you have to watch the movie to see it. Like, you have to understand.
Just be normal, Shelley. Yeah. That's all we need from you. Just be normal. And she just consistently will not be. And it culminates in this, they're doing like a hangman thing that I think the clue is like people who dance well. And they think that she says something, implies something ignorant or racist. She doesn't, and then she pulls somebody's weave out by accident, and it all just ends in a flurry of madness. Yeah, it's not great. I wish they would have dove a little bit further into, like, as weird as how I just said some of the scenes in this part of the movie were too long, but I wish they had dove in differently. Okay. And I just found specific aspects of this movie, i.e. the bachelorette parties or the later on in the movie when we get there, like the wedding or the breakup or the whatever, they're very short. Like, I wanted them to be a little bit longer so that we kind of felt part of it. I found it was like 6 months later, 3 months later, and it was like it jumped over a whole bunch of time. Well, we're about to get to that because next we have the rehearsal dinner. Yes. We finally meet Akbar's brother who takes Eddie Murphy down just a step. He's all like, you changed your name. Like, you used to just be Woody. Like, where did this come in? It was Uncle EJ, played by Mike Epps. He's hilarious. He
was good in it.
He seems like your classic, like, burnout uncle. Like, he's
single, no kids, just does his own thing.
I think he does have kids, doesn't he?
Oh, okay.
He talks about, like, trying not to pay child support and stuff. Like, he's making those kind of jokes.
Yes. Does his own thing. So at the rehearsal dinner, everyone's making speeches and like they're just too much. And then Akbar makes a speech and it's like, it's a weird backhanded compliment because like he says how great Ezra is, but in a way that it's not nice. And Ezra knows exactly what he's doing. He can see right through him. And they actually have a conversation after, the two of them. And Ezra says, you know what? Like, I take your shit every single day, all of the things you've thrown at me. And it taught me something that I will never know what it's like to be a black person in this country, but he does know what it's like to be what an asshole is. And then he just leaves. And I thought that was, well done, to be not offensive to him or not to be rude back or not to be an asshole back to him, but just enough that it's like, yeah, man, like you suck.
Yeah, you suck. And Amira has a similar conversation with Shelley just about, talking about her ignorance. And then Amira and Ezra come together and they break up here. They talk about how
out of nowhere.
They're like, this should be easier. Like, I don't think it's ever going to get easier. Our families are too divided. And they just kind of agree to break up. It kind of felt like, I knew there was conflict here and we had to resolve the conflict, but it felt like the rug was getting pulled out from under me a little bit. Like, whoa, we're breaking up?
Yeah.
And then it jumps ahead 3 months.
Yeah, but before that, I think it's true when you say like it just happened out of nowhere, because like why wouldn't they have sat down with their parents and said, like, whether it was together or by themselves, like Amira with her father and Ezra with, Shelley, and said like, look, we are going to be together. This is what's happening. You need to get over it or figure something out. And that kind of, and that happened because it didn't happen. It just, they came together and were like, it's not going to work. Bye.
And then we jump ahead 3 months in time.
Right.
And we have Uncle EJ and Akbar driving. They're listening to
the podcast because it's made it big.
It's blowing up. Mo and Ezra and Mo. And Uncle EJ does bring up, he's like, you gave that guy, you put him through the ringer. Like, you were not nice to him. And then it's annoying to me that, like, at that point, Akbar really, like, considers how he was to Ezra. Like, It's been 3 months. You wouldn't think, like, in the weeks following your daughter canceling her wedding that you'd be like, oh, wow, well, what did I do to make this thing happen? He finally considers that, and he comes up with this grand plan.
Yeah.
He reaches out to Shelley. They both get Amira and Ezra to the same place at the same time. I think it's like a sneaker sale or something. And they both individually apologize to the other. Shelley apologizes to Amira. Akbar apologizes to Ezra. And then they surprise them. They're like, hey, and here's your wedding.
It's a surprise wedding.
It's a surprise wedding. I feel like you're right, Sarah. Like, I talked about it off the top. The first half of this movie really pulled me in. The comedy was hilarious. Yeah. I was compelled to be like, well, what happens next?
Definitely.
Please tell me more. And then, and I'm probably going to use this analogy again, I just felt like they didn't know how to land the plane. Like they got off to this amazing start. The jokes were great.
Yep.
And the landing it just lost its footing at the end here for me a little bit.
I agree. The latter half of the movie was just missing something. And I think it glazed over too much and it was trying to tie too many things up. And I wish there was more Rom to it. Like, I wish we would have had more of them instead of all the conflict throughout the movie.
Well, I think that's what we loved about the beginning.
Yes.
The love story and then the conflict with each family's individually and then together. But like, yeah, a little bit more of the, I believe this love story still. And they just need to get through the Eddie Murphy thing, or they just need to get through the Julia Louise Dreyfus thing. But overall, a great movie, really funny. The writing's impeccable. And
fun.
These performances, like every actor and actress in this, I think nailed it. They nailed the role. They nailed the comedy.
Big time. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Quick facts. This is Kenya Barris's directorial debut. He has, however, written and created many movies and TV shows, such as the movie Girls Trip in 2017, Blackish, Mixedish, and Grownish, the TV show, Cheaper by the Dozen, the movie from 2022, among others. Eddie Murphy and Julia Louise Dreyfus were cast members on SNL at the same time. Eddie joined the cast in late 1980, and Julia joined in the fall of 1982.
I totally forgot that she was on SNL.
Yeah. Julia Louise Dreyfus and Matt Walsh were in the TV show Veep together. Matt Walsh plays the boss in the in this movie. This is an unofficial comedy remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner from 1967. Anthony Anderson's mother, Doris, got to share the screen with one of her favorite actors, Eddie Murphy, in this movie. Julia Louise Dreyfus mentions in the movie that she watched the documentary film Good Hair. Lauren London appeared in that documentary. Both Rhea Perlman and Jackie Swanson previously acted together on the TV show Cheers. This is not the first movie with Eddie Murphy having a goatee. Vampires in Brooklyn and some characters in Coming to America all have him with goatees and similar facial hairstyles.
Honorable mentions. My honorable mention, you touched on it slightly in your quick facts. Just the extra little cast members from either Blackish or Veep, because Kenya Barris, our director here, like you said, also created Blackish. So it's no surprise in this film we end up with a number of his Blackish stars. Anthony Anderson being a big one is the main barber at the barber shop. Dion Cole plays Demetrius, the wedding planner. And the crossover point is kind of Nelson Franklin, who is in Blackish.
Yes.
Also in Veep, which I always knew that Julia Louise Dreyfus, she obviously stars in it. One of the main producers as well, though. So it's kind of cool that she's also bringing along, like, okay, and here's our guy Nelson Franklin, and that's where Matt Walsh comes in as well. He was on Veep with her. He had a big role in that. It kind of felt like a lot of the tertiary characters are just those actors and actresses that some of the big people in this film just like, oh, I just like working with this person. They're funny. And it felt like there were a lot of really strong comedians on those outlying roles that I really liked.
I agree. It's funny because that's also my honorable mention. The cast was big for this one, but in my eyes, like, Eddie Murphy was a hit in this movie because it was such a different character than other movies that he's done that I've seen, right? Like, he's done a lot of comedic roles that the movies that I've seen, and it was just interesting, and it was really nice to see him in a little bit of a different role, you know, like he was a badass in this movie. I liked it.
He's just dry and angry, and I love it.
I liked it. But I did also, like you mentioned, liked that they had actors that people you'd know from different TV shows or movies throughout, like put in throughout the movies. And so Rhea Perlman, she is actually famous for Matilda and Cheers, and she still does a ton. And Danny DeVito is her husband.
Whoa, that's so random.
Well, anyway, really, really cool little tidbit. Dion Cole, like you mentioned, Blackish, was also in The Barbershop. Matt Walsh, Veep. Nelson Franklin, Veep, New Girl. Blackish was also in The Office. Elliot Gould, MASH, Ocean Movies, and was also Monica and Ross's dad in the TV show Friends. Yeah.
Yes, I noticed that.
They pop up here and there, and you don't really know unless you're you're really paying attention. And then Mike Epps, he's from The Hangover and Resident Evil.
Which should have been.
More story time, less run time.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Like, I found like the movie was 2 hours long, or just about. But I found like I wanted a little bit more of the storyline, like more development a little bit, I think. It kind of rushed, I think, at the end. For me, at least.
My what should have been is very similar. We talked about it a little bit, but I would, like, the way I see it is we just should have been able to land this plane a little better. Because I thought the first half of this movie was impeccable. It was hilarious. You pulled me in. I thought it was so funny. It was so compelling. I loved the characters. The plot started to show some cracks. Like, even as somebody watching, as a viewer, I just needed time to, like, okay, so it's the rehearsal dinner. They're breaking up, like, right now. Like, this is happening right this second. And then we're like, and 3 months down the road, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. I need to digest. Like, they just broke up, and now we're 3 months down the road, and now Eddie Murphy's like, I got an idea. Let's apologize and we'll just marry them on the spot. Like, whoa, hold on. Just give me a second to understand everything that's happening here. I felt, yeah, you're right. The last 20 to 30 minutes, I just didn't know if they knew how to land the plane. Overall rewatchability.
Okay, my rewatchability is as follows. Chemistry 3.5, storyline 2, thirst factor 2.5, imagination 3.8, soundtrack 5, cheese 2 for an overall score of 3.1 out of 5.
Ooh, that's a little bit of a low score.
Yeah, like I said, it could have been a hit.
I've got, you know what, it's funny. Our scores ebb and flow in the same way. I'm just a little bit higher on a few things. Like I've got chemistry 3.8, storyline 3, thirst factor 3, imagination of 4.8. I don't know how many films there are like this in the world. And it is very much like a Kenya Barris thing. Like it hits a lot of the same themes as Blackish.
Yep.
But there have been very few like Hollywood movie productions that address those same things.
Yes. Correct.
Soundtrack, I agree, 4.75. Amazing. Cheese, a 3. I've got an overall score of 3.72.
Okay.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
This has been the Rom-Com Rewind of You People, which is brand new. You can watch it on Netflix. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening, if you could do one thing and help out the pod, leave us a review. A 5-star would be fantastic. And if you hear anything on any of these podcasts that you want to reach out about, you want to chat about, at Rom-Com Rewind on Instagram and TikTok.
Thanks for listening.